What we're going to do on this upload is we're just going to read aloud the history of Innes Lloyd, who's producing Doctor Who around this time. George Innes Llewellyn Lloyd, 24th of December 1925 to the 23rd of August 1991, was a Welsh television producer. He had a long career in BBC drama, which included producing series such as Doctor Who and Talking Heads. Following service in the Royal Navy, Innes Lloyd trained as an actor at the Central School of Speech and Drama. He joined the BBC in the 1950s, initially in presentation, before moving into outside broadcasts. As an outside broadcast producer, he covered many important sporting events such as tennis at Wimbledon, golf and motor racing. He also produced important national events such as the Royal Christmas Message and Winston Churchill's state funeral. Lloyd began his drama career when he was made the producer of the science fiction series Doctor Who in 1966. He was the third producer on the programme, and his duration as producer ran for 2 seasons between The Celestial Toymaker and The Enemy of the World, with the exception of The Tomb of the Cybermen, which was produced by Peter Bryant as a test piece to show that he could take over from Lloyd. Lloyd made the series more action-oriented and less whimsical than it had been previously, which he had regarded as old-fashioned. He attempted to make the show more realistic, to this end hiring Kit Pedler as an unofficial scientific advisor. During his tenure as producer, the concept of regeneration was introduced, whereby the lead actor in the program might be replaced. This arose following the continuing health difficulties of William Hartnell as the lead actor. Lloyd and story editor Jerry Davis came up with an intriguing way of writing the Doctor out. As he was an alien being, they decided that he would have the power to change his body when it became worn out or seriously injured, whereas John Wiles, the previous producer to Lloyd, had intended to replace Hartnell with another actor, but playing the same character, Lloyd and Davis elected to change the entire personality and appearance of the Doctor. They eventually cast character actor Patrick Troughton, having previously considered another actor, Peter Jeffrey, as well as Peter Cushing, who had played Doctor Who in 2 Doctor Who movies. Troughton first appeared in November 1966 after the changeover from Hartnell had been seen at the end of the story The 10th Planet. Lloyd's era as producer of Doctor Who became known as a monster era. It saw the introduction of recurring monsters such as the Cybermen, the Ice Warriors, and the Yeti. He also terminated the purely historical stories prominent in the first 3 seasons of classic Doctor Who. Innes Lloyd also worked on 30-minute theatre, the football soap United, and Dead of Night, but he is best remembered as the producer of more prestigious drama. As a BBC drama producer in the 1970s and 1980s, his chosen projects were often biographical. Collaborating with authors such as Roger Milner and Don Shaw, he brought to the screen biographies from a diverse range of, often flawed, heroes ranging from Ord Wingate and Arthur Bomber Harris, the Campbells Donald and Malcolm, through to the first Director-General of the BBC, John Reef. He also explored notions of Englishness in the 20th century with productions such as England, Fair England, directed by Stephen Frears, the very talented at one time, still I guess, this Stephen Frears, East of Ipswich, written by Michael Palin, Monty Python fame, and An Englishman's Castle, 1978, starring Kenneth More, a dystopian vision of the consequences of losing the Second World War. Well, that's like Philip K. Dick's The Man in the High Castle. Actually, there's lots of media like that, to be fair. He was a frequent collaborator with Alan Bennett. That relationship started in 1972 with Bennett's poignant comedy A Day Out, and continued through landmark productions such as the first series of Talking Heads until Lloyd's death in 1991. Bennett's An Englishman Abroad told the remarkable true story of the chance meeting between actress Coral Brown, playing herself, and spy Guy Burgess, Alan Bates, in Moscow in 1958, while A Question of Attribution, finished shortly before Lloyd's death, was a logical sequel, showing the radically different fate of Surveyor of the Queen's Pictures and fellow traitor Anthony Blunt. I've seen the An Englishman Abroad. That's a phenomenal piece of drama. That's an excellent script. One of the best pieces of television I've ever seen. Really good stuff. Innes is one of his 2 middle names, as well as his mother's maiden name. Lloyd died of cancer on the 23rd of August 1991, aged 65. I may as well read out about Jerry Davis, who was the story/script editor around this time also. Gerald Davis, 23rd of February 1930 to the 31st of August 1991. That's the same year. That's a few days apart. Was a British television writer, best known for his contributions to the science fiction genre. He also worked for the soap operas Coronation Street and United. That's that aforementioned football soap opera, I guess. From 1966 until the following year, Davis was the story editor of the popular BBC science fiction series Doctor Who, for which he created the character Jamie McCrimmon, and co-created the popular cybernetic monsters known as the Cybermen, who continue to make appearances in the show, having been revived in the new run. His fellow co-creator of these creatures was the programme's unofficial scientific advisor, Dr. Kit Pedler. Following their work on Doctor Who, the pair teamed up in the 1970s to create the science fiction program Doomwatch. I've seen that film by Peter Sasty, which was, the show was, I believe it came before the show or after, I'm not sure. Doomwatch ran for 3 seasons on BBC One from 1970 to 1972 and spawned a novel written by Davis and Pedler, a subsequent cinema film, that's what I saw, and a 1999 revival on Channel 5. Davis briefly returned to writing Doctor Who in 1975, penning the original script for Revenge of the Cybermen, though the transmitted version was heavily rewritten by then script editor Robert Holmes. Davis also adapted several of his scripts into novelizations for Target Books' Doctor Who imprint. With Kit Pedler, he wrote the science fiction novels Mutant 59, The Plastic Eater, 1971, expanded from their script for the first episode of Doomwatch, Brainrack, 1974, and the Dinostar Menace, 1975. In the 1980s, Davis worked in America both in television and on feature films such as The Final Countdown, 1980. In late 1989, he and Terry Nation, the creator of the Daleks, former Doctor Who writer, made a joint but unsuccessful bid to take over production of Doctor Who and reformat the series mainly for the American market. That would have been terrible if they did. American market? Terrible. Jerry Davis died on the 31st of August 1991. Tune in next time if you're so inclined for episode 3 of The Savages here on AOD's Classic Doctor Who Retrospective. We'll be discussing the bio of one William Hartnell, the actor who portrayed the first Doctor. A good chap. Well, we'll see. Have a great day, night, wherever you are. Thanks again, my friends.